All right now.
Patrick Mahomes is basically God playing quarterback.
Chiefs Kingdom
Live!
They want it. They want it.
And when it's grim, be the Grim Reaper. Go get it.
That's a different tier right there, baby.
Yeah, we're not having a snowball fight.
Three. No one's ever got three. I want back-to-back to back.
The Lombardi Trophy has a red and gold reflection. Touchdown! Kansas City! One of the greatest duos in the history of the National Football League. Patrick Mahomes to Travis Kelce.
Let's go!
Do it live!
You gotta fight for your right to party!
It'll get handled when it gets handled.
Let's go! We're going to Super Bowl!
Howdy, Chiefs Kingdom. It's Wednesday. It's 8 o'clock. It's Chiefs Kingdom Live. Thank you so much for joining us. If you would, real quick, before you forget, if you wouldn't mind, make sure you click and tap that like and click and tap that subscribe button. Tell a friend, tell a family member, tell some Chiefs fans. Help spread the word. We sure appreciate it. Well, we got a good show for everybody tonight. The Kansas City Chiefs are going back to the Super Bowl for the third straight year after beating the Buffalo Bills and Josh Allen again. We're going to break this sucker down. We're going to go through all the players and plays and just give our thoughts and just celebrate this huge win. I mean, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years is absolutely insane. Looking like the chat's filling up early here with Maria and Laney. I'm glad you all could join us. Make sure you're
Big Doug in there.
Comments. I'm sure Big Doug's watching in there too.
He was at the beginning.
Before we get into it, fellas, I mean, I don't need to ask how we're doing tonight. Are we, Bo?
Dude, my right here is so sore. Just from I've been smiling for 3 days straight now. Just yeah, it's Monday morning. Just here we go. I'm excellent. Doing excellent. Nick, how you doing, buddy?
Dude, I am doing fantastic. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Chiefs went to the Super Bowl again. So, yeah,
again.
Again. I know we just said that, but you can never say that too many fucking times. All right. Yeah, dude, I'm great. Scott was a little under the weather, so he was very gracious, and my wife and I went to the game. We've been posting some of the videos that I took on our channel. Make sure you guys go check out the shorts if you haven't already. We got some pretty good ones. I upgraded my phone the day before in preparation, so
Jealous of that digital zoom, man. You got some good ones.
It's all about that zoom. So, man, Scott,
Those of you.
Oh yeah, we'll go to this.
This is one of Nick's videos he's talking about here. Perfect segue there. Sorry, Scott.
Way to go.
Oh, I love it. Good stuff.
I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell from the video. Did P-Ryan get the first down or not?
I
think so. I think you got it.
I'm giving Nick a hard time on missing P-Ryan getting to the stick there with the camera. But hey, when you're at the game and you're trying to watch the game and not film, that's what happens. But
John C. Hey-o.
Man, John C's showing up in here. Good to see you, man. Man, that game was so much fun.
What a good game.
Right. It was back and forth. I mean, it had everything. Looks like race cars checking in here. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Appreciate you watching. I mean, it had it all, man. It had back and forth and fourth down stops and lead changes and touchdowns and field goals and just, man, it was wild. Overall feelings watching the game before we just start talking about players and plays and particulars of the game. Nick, being there, watching it, how loud was Arrowhead? Was it, I mean, just give us kind of a synopsis of what that environment was like.
Yeah, look, it was from the very first time the Bills walked onto the field, as loud as I've heard the stadium, and the crowd pretty much maintained that all through the game. A lot of times what you'll notice is like it's like the crowd will kind of wait for them to break the huddle and then start getting loud, and it was like just continuous, like top of your lungs the entire time, all the way through. I don't know if that helped, but Josh Allen didn't come out like looking like super confident and sharp, right?
Not
and so,
at all.
I mean, it was raucous the whole time, the whole way through. The crowd came through, the team delivered, and it was just it was a special night, man. It was a special night.
Yeah.
Is that your third AFC championship you've now seen the Chiefs win at Arrowhead?
That was number 3 for me. Yeah. So Scotty and I went to 2, and then and we went to one where we didn't make it against the Bengals. We don't talk about that game.
Yeah, I was going to say, well, do you even,
But,
even need to feel the need to bring that one up? But
then we
Buzz
yeah,
Killington here.
Oh yeah, well, Buzz Killington. No, so and then this one. So yeah, 3. That's 3 AFC championships. We were there to see them get the attempt to go for the 3-peat here, and
Nice.
we'll see what happens against the Eagles here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you want to bring up the no punt game or the any of the other heartbreaking playoff losses? Kill the vibe.
Forward progress game.
Oh man, no, that's awesome. Amazing game.
What's up, Fred?
Josh Allen. I was watching the game, and when he came out, before he took the first snap, he looked nervous. Like
He did. He really did.
the way he was standing there, and whatever it was, I was like, man, this dude looks nervous. And then he had a couple of really bad passes, and I was like, oh, he is nervous. He don't look nervous. He is nervous. Bo, just overall thoughts, man. Level of excitement watching the game.
I mean, yeah, what a game. Like, couldn't ask for a better game, right? I mean, it wasn't quite the 13-second shootout game, but still just a shootout nonetheless. What a fun game to watch. I was really stoked with what both sides of the ball did. I mean, at points they kind of had their lulls, but it is what it is. I mean, that you could hats off to the other team for making some plays there. I really liked what our offense was doing. I liked the quick slants. I really liked the designed runs. I didn't think I was going to like designed runs with Patrick Mahomes, but AFC championship, it's all on the line. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's put the Bills, like, let's show them, let's give them a taste of their own medicine, right? Let's really show them, like, what that really does to teams. And we just defeated them right away, having Patrick run down their throats. A lot of surprise players came out that I wasn't expecting, like Juju, right? He had himself a game. I mean, only 3 receptions, but like 90 yards or something like that. Like, hats off to Juju for making some big plays. Like the run game. I liked what the defense did. I mean, they had, obviously both sides of the ball had some lulls, but I really liked what the defense did. Came up big time on some really big plays. My man Nick Bolton was all over the place. Came this close to stopping Cook's touchdown. When you watch that slow-mo replay, you're just like, whoa. Like, Cook's ribs are not feeling good even today, man. They're just, that hit looked so hard. But no, overall impressions, I mean, great game. I didn't think we brought our A+ on either side of the ball, but hey, that's for 2 weeks from now. So
yeah, I felt good about the game the whole week leading up to the game. I felt good. Like at kickoff, I felt good from the opening sequence on where we win the coin toss and defer and get the 3 and out, and then get the touchdown drive to follow it up. I mean, a perfect start. A couple little spots there in the middle where the Bills got the lead, right? I mean, I think there was 4 or 5 lead changes in that game.
But 4. Yeah.
But I mean, the Chiefs never got down by more than a field goal. I mean, they were always leading or within 1 or 2 points of Buffalo in that game. And with the way they were playing, the way their offense was moving the ball, I was never really worried, never really had a sense that the Chiefs were not going to win that game. You could tell the crowd was loud too, right? On the TV.
It really translated on TV for sure.
Right. There's a lot of people talking about how many Bills fans there were before the game, how many Bills Mafia was in the stands, but it didn't really look like that on TV. I mean, you could hear a little bit of the crowd noise from them when they would score or have a big play, but yeah, it definitely looked like a raucous home field advantage at Arrowhead Stadium for our hometown Chiefs. Let's just talk about players in this game. Kareem Hunt, I feel like you got to start with this guy. He made some really big plays in that game, had some nice runs, capped off the 90-yard touchdown drive to start the Chiefs off there with a nice 12-yard gallop into the end zone there. And that just really set the tone. But for that guy to go through everything he went through, right, and to be booted off the team basically, and then for him to come back and enjoy an AFC championship victory at Arrowhead, and he used to go play in the Super Bowl with his guys, you know, Travis and Patrick and the gang there. Awesome, man. I can't tell if Bo's freezing up on my end or if that's on his end. I don't know.
Yeah, it's me. I'm in the middle of nowhere. If you can hear me, I'm in the middle of nowhere.
No, you're good.
Sorry.
I just want to make sure I'm not like some of my end people. I'm not freezing up or having an issue or something. But yeah, Nick, Kareem Hunt, man, what did you think of him, and just how exciting and happy are you for that guy?
Yeah, that touchdown run that he had was not just like a cakewalk into the end zone. I mean, he had to pick the right hole there, and then he also, I mean, basically had to get past the defender, play through some contact to get in the end zone. I agree with you 100%, dude. It was really great to see. I mean, I think everybody that's Chiefs fans probably saw the video when he got pulled over in Cleveland, like after he got let go from the Chiefs the first time, and he's like, man, I'm supposed to be playing in the Super Bowl right now. Is like kind of like his low point, right? And you could tell this is like his rock bottom moment. And to see him keep fighting and come back and get that opportunity and to make the most of that opportunity, didn't, from a yardage standpoint, didn't have like a huge game, but he had some big runs and, you know, some big plays, and then he scored a touchdown in the AFC Championship game in front of Arrowhead. Yeah, what a night for him, and just the kind of thing that you like to see. And one of the staples of Andy Reid as a human being as well as an NFL coach is bringing some of these guys back and giving them a second chance, right after maybe they've made some errors when they were young. You know, these guys are pretty young when they're coming into the NFL, and young people sometimes don't make the best choices. So.
Yeah, Bo, I mean, how big is the addition of Kareem Hunt been to this team, and just what do you think about his redemption story and coming back to the Chiefs and playing in a Super Bowl?
You know, like the theme of this last game, I feel like was like the Bills were just outmatched. Like they got outplayed, they got outcoached, and then like this is kind of like just outmanaged from the management side, the GM side, Veach's side, right? Going and getting guys like D-Hop and Kareem Hunt when like what nobody else is, right? Like just taking advantage of the market, taking advantage of every little thing is what just the Chiefs organization does. But back to Kareem Hunt, man, like I remember when the news broke before all the evidence came out. I remember I was so heartbreaking because he was just so good. And I was just like, man, we just like, went through the Jamal Charles era, and we're like, oh man, we ever gonna get somebody like him? And then Kareem Hunt steps in, and you're like, oh yeah, okay, so just this guy's next, right?
Right.
And then all that happened, and it is what it is. So like for him to get his redemption is so cool to see. I have Nick's video here pulled up. This is his touchdown run. I don't have the sound on. But just going back to like talking about how hard of a run it is, like this is kind of Kareem Hunt, like why you pick him up in these situations, like right, like he's getting the yardage that we need there, but dude, he has that natural feel for the game, finds the right lane, breaks out some tackles, gets in the end zone. Yeah, like sorry, just watching. But sorry, I'm trying to find the right. No, that's not it. There it is. Super happy for the guy. I think Nick said he didn't have like a great game. I think he had an excellent game. I think he had the lion's share of carries, like 18 carries, something like that. For I don't know. Yeah. It wasn't no small game for him, and I think he just performed really well. And it's just great for him to get out there and do what he's doing, getting some redemption for all the Nick said. When you're young, you do dumb stuff, especially if you get millions of dollars thrown at you, right? Like, I imagine those guys do dumb stuff all the time. So I'm kind of rambling here, but I'm messing with buttons. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's just awesome, man. I think it just goes to show you, man, like no matter what you do, you can make amends and make changes in your life and keep working hard and better yourself, and opportunities that you thought maybe were gone for you can reemerge. But you got to be ready, right? I mean,
Yeah.
the team needed a running back. If he would have been getting kicked off the Browns and been a troublemaker and problem and getting in and have more issues off the field after he was released here and signed there, I mean, he wouldn't have been in a position to grab this opportunity. So I just like, not that we're buddies or like anything like that, but just like a person to person, a human to human connection, right? To see the guy change his life and be ready for the chance when it presents itself to come back.
Yeah.
It's just really, really cool. And so I can't give enough kudos and credit to that guy for the changes he's made and coming back and being a contributor to this team, right? And helping them make another Super Bowl. That touchdown run, man, that's like a red zone problem solver. When you've got a running back, you can hand it off to him at the 12-yard line and get a touchdown, right? I mean, we haven't seen that on this team in quite some time. I think that plays into when the Chiefs struggle in the red zone because they got to throw the ball all the time, right? Unless you're at the 1 or the 2-yard line,
Right.
Trying to pound it in there. That run, Nick, I mean, Arrowhead had to have been off the chain right at that
Yeah.
point. Set the tone for the rest
the
of the
crowd
evening.
set the tone. I mean, that was a 90-yard drive, right? So like, the Bills come out. We finally win the toss, so the crowd's already hyped, right? Because like the Chiefs feels like they hadn't won a toss to start the game in a long time, right? And so we've been getting the ball first, and we finally get to defer, and because you know that Andy likes to get the ball in the second half, and defense starts 3 and out. The Bills not looking sharp, punt the ball. We get it at the 10-yard line, go 90 yards in like easy, right? Like it looked like the easiest 90 yards we had all season.
Right. Yeah.
Kareem Hunt scores a long touchdown run formation that, I mean, everybody's talking about. I don't think they've used that formation at all, where they had the tight ends on either side of Patrick. They're calling a diamond formation, right? Like, so it was, the crowd was going insane, and you just had that feeling like, you know, okay, like the guys came to play and they're ready and they're going to kick some ass tonight.
The other thing that came to mind too is not just like being happy for Kareem Hunt individually, but the way the defense comes out and gets that 3 and out and then go for the offense to have a 90-yard touchdown drive. Like, we put it out there on the Chiefs Kingdom Live X account. If you're not following us there, make sure you go give us a follow. It was like, you think this team heard the noise all week, right? About how the Bills were the better team and how the Chiefs just win because of the refs and get all the calls. Like, they came out on fire and they came out determined and they came out like motivated. And you got to think that all the noise and chatter and nonsense during the week leading up to that game, following the Houston game, just they had a burr in their saddle, right? Like, they were pissed off. Like, they were coming out to prove that we're the back-to-back defending champs. We're playing at home. We're the 1 seed, and we're going to show you exactly and remind everybody who we are. So, amazing run by him. A really, really good game. Look, man, like, with Patrick Mahomes in this offense and with the way some other guys were playing, we'll get to here in a second, you don't necessarily have to have your running back go out and get you 150 yards, right? I mean,
right.
You come out, move the chains, get the team in the end zone from the 12-yard line on a nice run, put 7 points on the board. That's a productive day for a Chiefs running back, and that's going to be part of a formula for success with them, because there's plenty of other guys that can come out and have a big day. Another guy that had a big day, I think you got to talk about, is Xavier Worthy, the rookie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe I can't remember. One of us on the show last week said that he was the player to watch that was going to have a big game. Was that you, Nick, or?
No, I said Kareem Hunt, the guy we were just talking
I
about.
said D-Hop.
Oh, wait, that's right. That was me.
Yeah.
you could you could like just see this coming from a mile away with him being overlooked, right, and being passed on, which he obviously took as a slight because his comments about, well, they passed on me, that's their loss. And the game he had against the Bills in the regular season was his first real like Xavier Worthy. He was the number one guy and had a big game there. I can't remember the yardage totals, but scored a touchdown and was really a problem for the Bills.
Like 86 yards, I think.
Right. The video's going back around now of the draft day when they made the trade, and I'm not sure who it is, but one of the guys there standing behind him at the draft watch party pats him on the shoulder when the Bills traded the Chiefs, and he goes, "They're going to regret that trade." And turns out they sure did. They sure did regret that trade. Bo, Xavier Worthy, just how impressed were you by him, and what kind of game did he have?
Dude, not only just in this game, but just all season long, I've been impressed by him, right? You've seen him with all the injury bugs that we experienced this year. Our whole receiving core got affected, and they really had to lean on him, right? And I really liked that he was able to step up as a rookie. We had to do that again with Rashee Rice a few years back, right? And it was really cool that he was able to do the kind of the same thing, not as effective, but he's more of, not the same body type and physical player Rashee Rice is, but just, stepped up in the moments when you needed him most. This game in particularly, what a hell of a game that guy had. Really got to display how fast he really is. He makes professional athletes like not only just like lose their footing and their balance and get stuck on their heels, but he just blows by them, and these guys are just as fast too. So amazing game by him, dude. I love that how much they're mixing him into the game plan. I was this close with D-Hop, right? Like if he would have been Hollywood Brown, like they would have just been on the other side, right? He would have been the guy of the game, kind of like the go-to guy of this game. So I miss it by just that much. But congratulations on your Xavier Worthy pick there. I was thinking of you the whole time, just like, yep, there he goes.
Yeah, he was looking good, man. He's really come a long way this year, and you kind of look at the struggles, and it looked like he had a hard time kind of gelling and getting on the same page and building that chemistry with Patrick early in the year. But he stepped up, and very similar to Rashee Rice in his rookie year last year, when the team needed him and it was go time, he stepped up and he answered the bell. And
right.
Xavier Worthy has been, as advertised at the University of Texas, he was a touchdown machine. He sets a record for Kansas City Chiefs most touchdown by a rookie in franchise history. So he's translated that and used that nose for the end zone from the college game to the NFL game. You can see the speed. You can see the elusiveness. He's making contested catches. That catch where he ripped the ball away from the defender, right, as they're going to the ground in a scrum. There was 2 or 3 guys in that little that little crowd, and he's probably the smallest guy there, right? But he comes out with the ball. And that would end up being a huge play in the game. So he's growing and he's blossoming and just in time too, man.
On that play you were just talking about, Scott, how funny was it that you I don't know, I kind of spent the majority of my day on X and on social media. You just kind of get instant reactions from all these fans, right? And Bills fans went from interception, that's an interception, plain as day, and then they're like, no, it's Chiefs ball. Then it's like, that wasn't a catch. That wasn't a catch. It's just
they're coping big time right now.
Well, we learned that you can actually challenge a play after a team's ran another play. So we saw that happen there. There
was a replay of the coach throwing the flag, but they didn't show it with a timestamp or the clock in view, right? It's no,
I'm sure he threw it in time. It was just like if that had been the reverse situation.
Oh no, yeah,
it would be the biggest,
Chiefs
we didn't land on the moon, flat Earth conspiracy.
Right? Yeah,
it's out there. Right. So yeah, I echo what you're saying, Scott, though, about Xavier Worthy, where kind of his knock and what everybody said about him is, he weighs $105 and he's a little dude, and he's not supposed to be the guy that's going up and coming down with the ultimate 50-50 ball in the biggest game of the year so far, right? That's not what he was supposed to be when they drafted him. And for him to, in that situation, really kind of saved Patrick, because Patrick, when he stepped up in the pocket and launched that ball with a lot of trust in Xavier, and for him to come down and make that catch. The ball didn't move right when it hit the ground. So like it's a clean catch. They reviewed it. It was on the guy's arm, but even if they view it as a tie, ties go to the receiver in that situation. Yeah, that was like, I mean, his other plays were great, but that was a play where you're just like, all right, dude, this dude can ball.
Right. And by the time they got to the ground, I mean, he had both hands on the ball, and the defender had like maybe one hand kind of like resting up against it. It wasn't, there wasn't even a 50-50. That was the thing I kept hearing. Oh, people don't know the rules. 50-50 goes the offensive player. I was like, it wasn't even 50-50. Right. Like, it was clear to stay that, like, he caught the ball. So, yeah, that play where they threw it at him in the flat, and then he beat the defender to the pylon and did like the Superman dive into the end zone. That was a sick play too, man.
Yeah, it was sick.
That guy, he's you get Rashee Rice back next year, and you got Worthy and Rice. That's going to be a potent combination. Be seen yet whether or not Hollywood Brown comes back. He's on a 1-year deal this year, as everybody knows, missed basically the entire season with injury, but he's back in time for the playoff run here and has been critical. So yeah, Xavier Worthy, man, hell of a player, hell of a day for a guy. I mean, look, if you're going to have your best game of the year, an AFC championship game, that's a pretty good time to show up.
Hell of a time to step up.
MVSing, right? Like,
right.
Oh, dude, he's way better than MVS. Come on, way more productive.
I'm just saying, having your best game in the AFC championship.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, all right. I mean, Nick kind of alluded to his size being a little bit smaller. Would you guys like to see him cut in a little bit more? Are you guys okay with him just using his speed, getting first downs, going out of bounds, right? Like, that was kind of like one of the throughput lines that I heard this week.
That was like the last drive where we ended up kicking the field goal before we gave it back, or second to last drive, I should say, where we kicked the field goal. It did look like he could have cut back in, right? Like, instead of going to the sideline.
We've seen lots of players do it.
Because he had the defender's shoulders kind of turned to the sideline. It looked to me like maybe he could have like cut back in and kind of ran behind the guy into the end zone for the touchdown. But that's nitpicking right at that point. I mean,
yeah, for sure. But I'm just saying, would you guys like to see him start cutting back in more?
Yeah, no. I guess it depends on situation and time. I mean, you cut back in and you get the ball stripped or something. So it's like
you're cutting back into and the other team, right? Cutting back into linebackers and DBs.
Right. I'm just glad he's gotten to the point where he's keeping his feet in bounds. He struggled with that early in the year too. So
one thing at a time, huh?
One thing at a time. But outstanding game by that
Definitely.
guy. He crushed it. Travis Kelce. Okay, we go to Juju. Big Doug's bringing up Juju here.
Yeah. Hell of a game.
Juju just pops up, right? Kind of like,
oh yeah, he's on the team.
Oh, we got Juju Smith-Schuster out there.
He just broke for 60 yards. Oh, hey.
Breaking ankles, man, making people look dumb with the juke moves out there. I don't know where he found the fountain youth a little bit in this game, but Juju Smith-Schuster. Bo, how surprised were you by Juju? I mean, did you see that coming at all?
Not his breakout, right? Like I saw his role coming in a little support, give some guys some breathers and stuff. And yeah, he's been reliable enough to be a relief route. Didn't see him just being wide open and then like finding lanes, right? And I think he only had like 3 targets and something like I said, like 70 or 80 yards or something like that. So no, hell of a game for him. I mean, yeah, like I'm just so happy that most of our receivers this year are just completely sure-handed. I mean, that's been like one of the biggest faults all year, and like. He's one of those guys that in years past on the same team, right? Where you're just like, is he going to catch this ball? And it's just good to see him kind of get over that hump, so to say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it had to be frustrating if you're a Bills fan and you're sitting at home and you're watching Juju just like burn your defense. You're thinking, what the fuck, dude? Really? This dude, like, I mean, the Patriots.
7-year-old Juju Smith-Schuster with bad knees, right?
Right. I mean, how many games did the Patriots win this year? 3. And they just like were like, they couldn't get rid of that guy fast enough, and all the reports about his knee being a ticking time bomb, and then the AFC Championship game rolls around, and he's just burning your defense. Nick, Juju, how big of a surprise was that for you? I mean, what did you see out of the guy? He was making big plays. It sounded like he was getting the crowd going as well, right?
Yeah. Look, I don't think that was a performance that anybody thought was going to happen. We thought that was going to be Brown or D-Hop that would be playing kind of that role. And look, I think that the kind of the genius of the game plan is that they seem to be able to work around whatever the defenses are doing. The Texans, their game plan was, we'll just cover everybody but Travis Kelce and see what that guy can do. And that obviously was like a bad move, right?
And then the Bills
Universally
swung
seen
the pendulum the
bad
other
move.
way.
And so then the Bills were like, well, we're not going to let that happen to us. And so, so they were on Travis Kelce, and they're like, well, we also have an Xavier Worthy and a Juju Smith-Schuster. So, I mean, it was good to see him get the reps. I mean, some of these guys that they have good careers, and then all of a sudden very kind of unceremoniously get kind of tossed on the garbage heap, right? And to see them be able to get picked up by the team and contribute in meaningful ways in big games, it's cool, man. It's really cool, and it's one of the things that makes the Chiefs so hard to beat, is because
definitely
they just seem to pull out weapons from wherever, right? I mean, Samaje Perine, like, I thought they're going to Perine on 3rd and 9
right.
to steal the game, so.
Yeah, Juju, that first play, when he caught it, I was like trying to like look at the number and see I was like, who is that? Like, is that Juju? Like, I was like shocked a little bit, but no, man, look, happy for Juju. He was a big part of the first Super Bowl win to get this
beginning as a three-peat,
this three-peat going, man. I mean, they brought him in, and he was the number one receiver on that team that year, and had a nice year, made big plays. And so to see him come back and more of like a backup ancillary role this go around, but make plays when the team needs it. And he had a big game. I want to say it was against the Saints earlier this year. Helped the Chiefs win. Look, all those regular season game wins, man, were big because Chiefs were playing this game at home. I mean, the home field advantage, we've been talking about it in the crowd. So Juju's come in and been a nice, maybe like third or fourth option. I don't know what you want to call him there in the wide receiving room, but
auxiliary role, right?
Yeah, to see him come in and have a big game in the championship and just maybe further like cement, like his legacy, right, in Chiefs Kingdom. Really, really good to see that. And by all accounts, he's a great teammate, and he brings a lot of positive energy to the team. You hear his teammates talk about he's a really good dude to be around, and he's a smart player. So Juju shows up, and I mean, look, if you're a Bills fan, it's kind of hard to complain about calls when you got Juju out there working your defense over. But so kudos to Juju. Really, really cool to see him have a big game. Talked about Travis. He had the 7 or 8 catch, 100 whatever yards that he had last week and a touchdown against the Texans. It was obvious, like Nick kind of alluded to here a second ago, that the Bills were like, okay, well, we're not going to let Travis beat us. Somebody else is going to have to beat us. But he was doing the small things in this game. He had a couple of catches. He got a first down on that last drive there that kept the drive alive, and Chiefs were able to get ahead. Made a few nice plays, had a really, really good block on, was that the first or the second Patrick Mahomes touchdown run?
Second, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Travis Kelce, Nick, looked more like Travis we saw during the season, right? Maybe not catching as many passes and racking up the yards, but doing the things that need to be done, right? And doing like the side rolls and doing some of the dirty work to help the Chiefs get the win.
I think one of the things that in this organization that makes it so great is that nobody is above doing anything, and they elevate even the smallest role players, right?
Sure.
Back to Christmas when they gave Andy Reid the ball, right? And they had the equipment guy pop out of the little locker and give him the ball.
Right.
And then everybody's like cheering that guy on, and they let him break the huddle. That's like an assistant equipment guy, and I know he's been with the team a long time and stuff, but like this team they value everybody. And what you see with Travis there is he's like just wants to win the game. He's not sitting there going, well, I didn't get enough targets in the AFC Championship. He's like, dude, I've won that shit like 100 times, right? Like the goal isn't for me to get 6 catches or 8 catches and 100 yards. It's for us to win the game. And so whatever I got to do. And there's like, did you guys see Nico Remigio was on Up and Adams, and she was talking to him about his performance, and he said that like he fair caught that first punt at the 10. And when he went to the sideline, Trav said, hey man, that's not being great. Like that's not how you be great. Like fair catching, like you had, and so he's like on the next one. Like I was like, all right, I'm gonna run this, and he,
I'm gonna die or get a return.
I'm gonna run this 10 yards from the end zone.
That's like, and then Trav was like, dude, like that's how you be great, dog. Like, and like that's like real time accountability from leaders, and like, so he may not have like had a big stat sheet day, but like you said, he was blocking in the end zone when Patrick ran in on that designed run. And, he's doing all these little things. He's just like such a presence out there. He's drawing coverage away from the other guys so that, Worthy can have a big game against a team that, passed on him. And so, hey, take him out of the game. But for you guys to put a lot of focus on him, guess what? They got a lot of other people on the team that know how to win and are able to contribute at a high level.
Right. And if there's a guy out there that could be selfish, it's Travis Kelce with what he's done in his career, in this organization. He's nipping at Jerry Rice's heels on a lot of these postseason records, right? I mean,
say that again real quick. He's nipping at Jerry Rice's heels. Yeah, for receiving records.
He's passed him for 1 or 2. I mean, he's got the most postseason receptions. He's not far behind in yards. I want to say he's 2 touchdown catches behind Jerry Rice. So for him to be who he is and one of the greatest of all time, and as close to some of these records and these personal accomplishments that he is, to be that unselfish, man, is just really, really rare. Bo, Travis Kelce, what did you see out of him, and just how important is he to this team?
Yeah, man, not to just sit here and like glaze him too much, but there's not enough good things you can say about the guy. You guys nailed all the points, right? Everything I was gonna say, like how he blocked today, like not today, but Sunday, how he was a distraction, a good decoy out there, and just and he's just a good veteran in every sense of the word and keeping the team up. But like one of my favorite stories about like Patrick's first year is that he and Patrick were late to their first day of practice together. And they just kind of like wrote out the punishment together, you know what I mean? And they just kind of had that relationship since the get-go. And in crucial moments, you just see it when you like. I don't know how Travis does it because his back's to the play breaking down, but I guess he can just feel it or senses it from the crowd. He can just sense when the play breaks down and just finds the empty space or just knows the right feel, the right direction to go with Mahomes, and just always happens to be right there, man. There's a reason we call him Old Reliable. We call him Travis motherfucking Kelce, TMFK for sure, but Old Reliable is just too hard to text out. Yeah. But there's a reason he has Old Reliable as a nickname, man. He is that reliable. He's that guy. Like I said, just not enough good things to say about the guy, especially with the limelight he's had for the past 2 years or so, right? Dealing with all that, the mental pressure of, I mean, he's always been a celebrity, but that I feel like is next level when you're dating arguably the most famous person in the world. Just the limelight he's been of. It's kind of attributed to that Chiefs fatigue that you kind of hear echoing in the media, right? Like you've seen a lot of him and Taylor Swift and all that stuff, but like just to keep his head focused in the game and like everything we just said about, keeping other guys there. Just top notch, veteran in every sense of the word. Love the dude.
Yeah, he does what it's just that's like the motto of this team. It's like like it's a team, and we're gonna do whatever we need to do to win. If that's me having a big day, if that's somebody else having a big day, I'm gonna help that other person have a big day and have a big game and be excited for him too, right? And be happy for him too, not sulk and like you see some of these guys around the league do. So yeah, man, I hope we get to watch that guy play football for at least another season or 2, man. Like,
yeah,
right. Selfishly, me too, man.
That's like I hope I didn't just miss his last game at Arrowhead.
Yeah, I was really. I mean, if that were the case, I mean, I saw his last huge playoff game where he destroyed the Texans. So, not gonna be too sad about that. But the man of the day, Patrick Mahomes. This dude, when you look at like all of the dumb shit about he's the 4th best player in the NFL 100, and he's not even getting all pro votes or MVP consideration, and he doesn't even get voted to the Pro Bowl, and he comes out and wins another AFC championship game. Now 5-2 in AFC championship games in his career. He's played in the game every year as a starter. You look at the last 3 years, I mean, he's taken down, Joe Burr and Mr. January and Big Trust and all these guys who get the national spotlight and the attention and the votes for these awards. He was locked in that game, man. He was dialed in, focused. I mean, I want to say the only one bad play, and I don't even know if I really want to call it that bad of a play, was where he got tripped up and kind of took the team out of field goal range. But how many times has he gotten around the defender in the open field on the edge right there? Right. So doing it with his legs, doing it with his arm, keeping drives alive, getting first downs, takes down Josh Allen again, 4-0 against, like Tony Romo likes to call Josh Allen Mr. January, which is okay because Patrick will just be Mr. February if that's the case. Right. But Bo,
we'll take it.
Patrick Mahomes, just how good is he? And I mean, he's cementing himself as one of the, if not the all-time greatest quarterback in the NFL with what he's done by age 30, right, man?
Yeah, and like if you watch any of the other talking heads or any of the sports media out there, they're comparing. I mean, for good reason. They're comparing him to Tiger Woods, Gretzky, Babe Ruth. I mean, like the greats of their sport, right? And then like they start comparing him to Tom Brady, and you start seeing their numbers through these games, and he's just outpacing it just by a clip, man. Just completely a league in his own right. And it's kind of. It's hard because it's so annoying. You hear a different guy bring up like, oh, he's like Tiger Woods. He goes on his rant about this, or oh, he's like Mayweather and all this stuff. And like, no, man, this guy's Patrick Mahomes. He's about to do something that everybody's about to start. It's going to be the new bar. I'm so fortunate that we're getting to witness it. I'm so fortunate to have witnessed it in person. It's just a special time for Chiefs Kingdom, right? And like everybody knows. Like I'm not saying anything new. But like this game specifically shows you why, right? Like they took the strengths of the Bills and used it to our advantage. I mean, like who thought we were going to see Patrick Mahomes on a designed run, let alone like a couple, right? Like fourth down conversion. Yeah, you maybe see it, right? Cause that's a pretty good to roll out, a good go-to play, the rollout, and you have, the option to run and stuff, everything. But there were some where he just tucked and run, and you knew that's what they called from the get-go. And we hadn't seen it all year. I love that they just pull stuff out like that. But the fact that he does it too, like other quarterbacks get hesitant, not this guy. He wants to go out and win. And yeah, he hears all the shit talking, he knows about all the lists that he's not on, and and it is disrespectful, man. How do you go essentially 15-1 in a season, you're not on the MVP ballot at all, and there's quarterbacks that didn't make the playoffs on that ballot? Like it's just fascinating to me. So he hears it, and Nick played the greatest quote of the season, right? It'll get handled when it gets handled, and I think it's just applied all season, right? Because every game there's been some shit talking, even now. Like it's not the echoes of. I mean, you get this kind of, right? You get some guys comparing him to these great people, but like you don't hear people talking about how great of a game it was, or like how he took control of it with his feet and burned everybody. No, you're hearing about one play on 4th and inches for the other team. Like that's been like the throughput on all media, right? You're not hearing about how good this is. You're hearing about how sad it was the other guy didn't win. And I think that just speaks to how great he actually is, dude. He's setting a whole new bar, right? Where people want to see him lose. And like, man, I used to be in that camp when the Patriots were on their tear, right? I was just like, oh, Brady's going again. And I remember the Chiefs being such a relief to that Patriots fatigue. Like finally somebody to beat Brady. And now I think we kind of surpassed we're on the other end of it now, and we're just getting that hate. But that's how good that guy is. To answer your question, man, like he's gotten so good, he's now the villain, and that's kind of been the other throughput of sports media, but it's true. So
yeah, Nick, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, how good did he look in person? I mean, this is like one of his signature marquee games, right?
It was a vintage game, right? He looked sharp the entire game. I mean, he was laser focused. I think I texted you guys Saturday, and it was like Friday night on his Instagram account. Patrick posted a video with like the highlights from the Texans game, but it was set to a song, and the song is about like getting panned by a bunch of critics and media people.
right.
And like the song is basically like, well, I'll show you what I'm about to do. Like you guys can see like how great I'm about to be. And that's what the whole song is about. And I texted you guys when I like realized that, and I was like, oh, he's about to go scorched earth. And like the guy just always comes through. He always comes through. Like Josh Allen is a fine quarterback. I felt bad for him a little bit, like a tiny and it's really the rest of the AFC's fault. Like you guys should have like taken care of him so like Patrick Mahomes didn't have to do this to him again, right? They shouldn't have let him get back to Patrick Mahomes. They should have been like before you get there. Like there were Bills fans that were in the parking lot talking, and this guy just kept saying over and over again, he's like, man, this is embarrassing. Like it's embarrassing. Like it's like his brain was broken, and I was just like, well, good luck with that shit. But we just want to
right.
celebrate. But yeah, like you saw what makes Patrick Mahomes a champion, because when it was a tie game, he went down and he got the points. He didn't get a touchdown, but I think they were trying to play for a field goal as time expired, and it just didn't quite work out. They didn't get the first down, but they got the points, right? And then once they got the ball back, it was we got to use like their timeouts up, and we got to get a first down. I think it was Pacheco goes out of bounds when they get the first down. So then that gives them like another cycle where they've got to get another first down to really guarantee the win. And on 3rd and 9, instead of just saying, okay, we're going to like burn as much time here with a run play because they don't have any timeouts, they put the ball in his hand and he makes the throw. Like you look at that versus Allen. And I know that, Big Doug is sitting here. I'm not going to beat up Allen too much about that hot read because like he was rolling to his right. I know that means that he didn't pick up the blitz, but like to turn around and throw to the guy in the flat, I'm not going to beat him up too much about that. But like, why is it 4th down? Why is it 4th and 6? If like this is like your defining drive, like why did it even get to 4th and 6?
And the two throws before that, he sailed over his receivers who were open, right?
Yeah. So like that's the difference and it's not like he just did it this year, right? He's done it like every year. You're talking about a guy that is 2 overtime losses away from going to 7 straight Super Bowls. Like it is unfathomable to think that they would have this type of success. And we called it years ago. It may have been as after the 13-second game, Scotty, like on this show, like you can go back and listen. And we're like, if Patrick Mahomes ever gets a top 5 defense, you can just shut the league down because nobody's going to beat him.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to beat him. Like, and really, they only lost legitimately 1 game this year, and that came down to a 4th down play that the defense didn't quite get. And, so kudos to the Bills there. But, like, they really only got beat legitimately 1 time this year, and they avenged that loss in the AFC Championship game on the biggest stage. So I just really can't, you can't express just how clutch the guy is and the mindset and the mentality that he must have to be able to do that and to keep the people around him sharp. And that everybody around him wants to come in and they want to make the play for Patrick. And that's what he's doing is he's like elevating the teammates so that a Samaje Perine and a Marquez Valdez-Scantling like can make plays to win AFC Championship games because like I'm not going to let that guy down. Right.
Right. Yeah, he's amazing. He does it all. I mean, he can stand in the pocket and throw precision passes. He can throw the deep ball. He can get out and throw on the run. He can run and scramble and break tackles. I mean, he had 3 total touchdowns
left-handed.
in this game, right? Throw it left-handed. Yeah, it's just funny,
Behind
man.
the back.
When you look at just, I mean, more overall, not just necessarily this game, because I mean, you guys did a good job of just basically highlighting all of, like what he did that was awesome.
Yeah, sorry, we didn't leave a lot of meat on the
in
bone,
this
did
game.
we?
No, but I mean, go back to that first AFC Championship win over Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
And the Titans and King Henry. And then he's 4-0 against Josh Allen, and he got revenge, right, for the one loss to the Bengals, and came back and beat Joe Burrow. He's beaten Lamar Jackson in the playoffs. He's won in their house. He's won in his house. Like, this dude is just laid waste to the AFC and all of these other top players and QBs and teams, right, that are going to be the ones that are going to dethrone Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And it's this team's year and it's this player's year, and they're the MVP, and they might have the stats, or they might have this accolade or this award in the off season. It just doesn't matter, because he's taken them all down. And the guy's played in the AFC Championship game every year since he became the starter. He's 5-2 in those games. Look, if he wouldn't have won this game, I mean, there's a big difference between being 4-3 in AFC Championship games when you had 6 of them at home, and 5-2.
Yeah.
And he's going for the three-peat, just that killer mindset he has. We've talked about it all year. That, I mean, he didn't even have the trophy last year, and he's already talking about getting the three-peat, right? Never satisfied. And so that mindset that he has, and just the competitiveness, and it like oozes out, right? And I don't want to say infects, because that sounds like a bad word, right? But his teammates, right? And everybody around him. And the standard is winning championships and winning trophies. So you can give all these other people all the awards, right? Patrick Mahomes and this team plays for trophies. And he got another one last night. The guy is just simply unbelievable, and we've never seen anything like him in this game before. Looks like we got Tony's in the chat here. Good to see you. Appreciate you swinging by.
You're on mute, but
I'll figure this out one year with this mute button and everything.
One of these days.
One of these days. Broke 30 right when we needed it. Somebody called that we were going to break 30. I just didn't. I was hoping our defense would play a little bit better.
Right.
it looked like it might be a blowout there until that fumble.
Right, dude. It was looking good.
Right. Or even when the Chiefs got the ball and they scored the touchdown to go up 21-10 to go into half, and then hey man, sometimes you got to tip your cap to the other team. The Bills made some made some good plays, and Josh Allen and Hollins made a hell of a play on the touchdown there. That really burned my ass. I was mad about that. Right? Going into halftime, I was like, bro, you cannot do that in this game. But
yeah, this is such a brutal let up there.
We got to talk about the defense before we get out of here in this game, right? I mean, the defense, no one has been able to stop Josh Allen in these short runs on 3rd and 4th and short and at the goal line, right? And Chiefs did it 2 or 3 times, right? Once right down there with the 2-point conversion. And then they did it again with basically, look, the game's on the line right there. You got a 3-point lead, but they got the ball, and there's not going to be a lot of time left if they go down and score a touchdown. So, Nick, the defense, just how well did they play, and what did you see out of them? I mean, one guy doesn't necessarily stand out to me right off the top of my head, but overall the unit, which is kind of how this team has played, team defense, right? Yeah, they had a damn good game. Yeah,
it's kind of been the Spags postseason defense since he became our defensive coordinator. They did give up some points, right? But they made the plays to get the stops when they absolutely had to. I know it's a lot of controversy, but I could see from your seats that Josh Allen didn't get across. Right. I mean, it was so. I mean, look, you either get the push or you don't on the line. And to me, if you don't get the push and they can't really tell, then you didn't get it. This isn't a participation trophy first down bullshit. You got to get it, and you got to make it clear that you got it. And if you can't get your body across because your guys don't get the push, then the ball needs to be visible. Like I think in that instance, like they should not like be giving people the first down, but the defense, they stood strong. That blitz on 4th down was just like a crazy risky call. I thought that he caught that ball for
Me
like
too.
a fraction of a
too.
second, and I saw it squirt out, and it was just like utter relief. I mean, kudos. That's Josh Allen's like, sideways Superman throw, right? In the Tampa Bay Super Bowl that Patrick made on 4th down, where it's like just a pretty incredible throw that you're able to make in that situation that, unfortunately wasn't caught. But look, Chris Jones got stopped a 2-point conversion. The whole defense stood strong on a 2-point conversion and kept them from converting. Karlaftis really, got to Josh Allen on that 4th down, among others. Really, it was just kind of like our playmakers coming and making plays, and kudos to the Bills. Like that, there were some plays like we were talking about that touchdown that Cook scored where, I mean, I know that Reed kind of missed, but I mean, Bolton really just laid the wood to him, and he just somehow was able to get his hand down and stretch out across there. Sometimes, like you said, you got to tip your cap, and they're a really good team. They were the only team in the past season and a half or whatever since going back before the San Francisco Super Bowl, where they're the only team that's put up 30 on us. They didn't get it this time. Really just situationally sound, not doing dumb things, right? Like Karlaftis letting up after he hit Josh Allen on that 4th down, not, the instinct is probably to drive him into the ground, but being like, dude, I'm not going to get a penalty here, right? I'm not going to give him an excuse. Smart football, well-coached team, making the plays when they had to. And if you look at it, it's like they didn't convert 2-point conversions, and that led us going for 2 and getting it, and 3 points was the difference in the game. So, I mean, they made the plays that they needed to make sure that we could advance.
Yeah, no, they played good, man. Karlaftis had pressures. Who was it? There was somebody that got a sack, strip sack.
Mike Pennell.
It was Mike Pennell. Like that guy has been just a beast on this defensive line. That was brought in, was another guy that a couple seasons ago was just sitting at home, and Chiefs bring him in, and he plays a key part in this dynasty and just dominating the AFC. Chris
I think you're
Jones.
right, Doug. I think that was the final.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know. Like, I see people call it that. That's kind of what they do, but it's not like the classic where they have like 5 guys lined up behind Josh Allen, right? But
those are more QB sneaks, right? Just like
right.
Yeah.
But I mean, they definitely get guys in there. I mean, especially on that 4th and 1 stop, he had 2 or 3 guys trying to shove him forward there,
right,
when it was looking like he wasn't going to get it. So, but yeah, I mean, able to stop those sneaks. I mean, they haven't been able to do that. We joke on this show all the time about, Josh Allen, he's just another season with 40 touchdowns. Well, yeah, but 12 of them were like half-yard QB sneaks at the goal line.
Yeah, the same people
look at Jalen Hurts
has a bunch of 1-yard touchdown passes. Like want to card out that total touchdown stat for Josh Allen.
Yeah, so I mean, they just play good as a unit, and Spags dials up the blitz, confused Allen. I mean, and Allen admitted it after the game. The guy sent the protection and the offensive lineman the wrong way, and he did not anticipate or see or expect the blitz there, and for McDuffie, the corner in that game. So just really, I mean, like they just came out, and I mean they made the plays, right, and the Bills didn't. Look, that's a drop by Kincaid. I've seen so many people like trying to excuse that away and talk about what a hard play that was. Dude, the ball hit him in both hands, and it was like fluttering down slowly, right? I mean, it was like almost like catching like a tipped pass or something, man.
But it was a half yard behind him, Scott.
Yeah,
that's a hard pass to catch if you're a professional athlete.
That's a drop. That's like a big part of the difference between the Chiefs and these other teams is they make the plays, right? And the other teams don't make the plays. And so, I just...
Dude, that defense, though, like the game that they played, I think it's going to be That was real good practice for what we're about to face in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl, right? I would put Josh Allen on a different level than Jalen Hurts, obviously, but not when it comes to running with your legs, right? I might actually give that edge to Jalen Hurts. So, like, in that idea of, like, spying a good quarterback, but then that 1-2 punch with Cook, I mean, Cook is obviously no Saquon Barkley, but just good practice, to get used to that running game. I felt like we really stuffed that QB blitz really easily. I mean, Josh Allen didn't seem to be a big threat on his legs whatsoever. Even when he did break one for 12 yards or something like that, Shamari Connor came in, clips his ankles, gets him down right away, right? Like they were ready for that and expecting it.
Right.
What I wasn't expecting was how easily Cook just kind of ran all over us, right? And that's what I'm a little worried about coming in here for the Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley. But we talked about it a lot, about how much the Chiefs like to put stuff out there by design, right? And I like to think that maybe they left a few plays for Cook to, like, oh, look, they have this. And if they line up that way, and they're like, nope, Spags is on it. But as I mentioned at the top of the hour, I don't think the defense played their A+ game, but I'd give them an A. That was you kept the Bills under 30, right? And like, I mean, I know you had 2 or 3 possessions back to back to back that were just pitiful, and you're like, come on, guys, right when we need to stop the most. You mentioned it, right? Going into halftime, that would have been huge to have that kind of commanding lead. But when it came down to it, man, Nick was talking about the line, dude. Everybody on the line crushed it. I mean, Chris Jones had himself a hell of a day. I think he had like 5 pressures, even being double teamed, and that's saying something, right? Getting through 2 guys, but then opened up for everybody. Karlaftis, Pinnell. And it's like, exactly. Top 2, top 3, right? And so like that's saying something in its own. And then it just opens up the doors for Karlaftis, Pinnell, and Omenihu, and everybody just had themselves a field day. I think everybody played fairly great, man. There wasn't any like obvious gaping holes other than that run game to me.
Right. Nick, you brought up earlier something I kind of wanted to touch on. I'd like to kind of see what you guys think about this. Like, the Bills were talking about like that diamond formation and like the Chiefs running plays like they hadn't seen, right? Like, dude, how crazy is it? Like, it's almost like the Chiefs don't even start playing until the AFC Championship game, man. Like, it's fucking crazy. I mean, Nick, the Chiefs are holding things back until the AFC Championship game. Just like how insanely good coaching is that, and just how talented of a team are you? If your season, you look at it, is it really doesn't start until like the divisional round or maybe even the AFC Championship game.
Yeah, you have an advantage in Patrick Mahomes that nobody else has.
It's true.
And so his ability to will a team victory, right?
Right. Oh yeah.
Coupled with a good defense, where we've talked about this, lowers the bar, right? It lowers the bar to a win, and so you don't have to score as many points. I know Tony, we're glad you're in the chat, man. Like, talk about we broke 30 when we needed it. Like, that's exactly the point. Is that like we don't need to score that many points, and so they typically don't. Now I'm sure they'll tell you, look, it's not that we're not trying to score points, but like you see some of these teams pulling out like the Lions, right? Like the fake fall down play, and you see
Fumble Rooski,
the Fumble Rooski, right? And then you see like the Eagles, like they've done like a fake tush push, right? That like there's no need to bust some of these plays out like until you're in these moments where you really need them. And I think that it's just like a discipline thing with the coaches where they're like, it's like, I got this really cool play, right? Yeah, exactly. I got this really cool play. I'm bad at that. Like, if I buy something, like I'm like really excited about it at the grocery store, like I'm opening it up as soon as I get home. I'm eating some of it, you know what I mean? Like, and so they have like the
I mean, that shit in the car sometimes.
Exactly, right? And so like I think that they're sitting and they've got some of these things all the way at training camp, and they're like this is like our AFC Championship game play. The Rose Bowl play at the Super Bowl, right? They said they were doing that all the way back to training camp, and they held on all year for a 4th down in the Super Bowl, and they're like, all right, now it's time to bust this out. And the Bills, like we're talking about, they're like, yeah, dude, like we never saw any of that. They didn't have that formation all year, right? We didn't see it on any of the tape, and they ran the same play once to Kareem, and then they're like, oh, this is the Kareem Hunt play, and they're like, nope, psych. Patrick keeps it this time, and he goes and scores a touchdown. So we scored 2 touchdowns on the same play, right?
Yeah.
And like you got to hope that they've got a few more of those for a couple weeks from now, which I'm sure they do. So
right, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're saving something back, but at the same time, you got to make sure you win the AFC Championship game, get to the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
Bo, I mean, just like they don't even start really playing until like this time of year.
Dude,
man. It's crazy.
And it's funny because I've like mentioned it jokingly all season, pretty much. Like I think Andy Reid's playing stuff close to his chest, right? And
Right.
I can't help but feel like that is the case, man. The biggest criticism of the Chiefs this year is that we're not blowing teams out of the water. We're just kind of ho-humming our way through games and winning close ones,
Don't need
right?
to.
And it's just like, yeah, you don't need to expose your greatest plays out there, put them on tape, and let people know how to defend that, right? Let that be the corn dog or Tom and Jerry in the Super Bowl, where all of a sudden you have a guy that's solo on TV for 20 seconds because there's not even a defender on screen, right? Like he's getting TV time. Like is
that a beer vendor? Oh shit! No,
Right.
I mean, that's just a testament to how good this coaching staff is. But to be a fly on the wall during like training camp, or like even before training camp, when they probably like get together and go to like a Buffalo Wild Wings, get all drunk, and just kind of start plotting, right? Like like you're saying, there's an end game, and then there's like an Infinity War. Like they have like all their stages planned out already. They're so far ahead of their competition. It's unreal.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you're playing Uno with somebody and they're like busting their wilds out like right away. You're like, no, man, you gotta save those until later.
Oh, you've never played before. Oh no.
Right.
Okay, here, look.
Those,
I'll draw 4.
Right, you got to save those for later so you can go out and when you're like lower and you don't have a green, so you don't have to draw. But like, yeah, it's just crazy.
Nice.
I mean, Andy Reid to me is, he's getting into. I mean, he's making a legit argument for like greatest coach of all time. We'll talk maybe more about that after the Super Bowl next week. But I mean, he's the all-time winningest coach for 2 different franchises. He's got 300 wins. I mean,
this is his 6th Super Bowl as a head coach, right?
Right. It's his 6th Super Bowl as a head coach. He's done it with multiple teams, multiple quarterbacks, multiple everything.
Like
right.
2nd or 3rd winningest coach of all time now.
Right. I mean, he saves plays and saves things for AFC Championship games and Super Bowls that nobody's ever seen before. So, yeah, just it's an insane advantage that the Chiefs have over everybody that they play, coach and quarterback, man. Yeah, see, John C. knows what I'm talking about. Fat kid
He
life
throws down
over
a
here,
good car
man.
munch.
Yeah, no, I definitely am like, I'm opening that bag of chips in the car. I ain't even waiting until I get home, but just so much fun, man. Like this team's going to back-to-back Super Bowls, 5 Super Bowls in 6 years, never been done before. It's just such a wild time, man. And
What about Pat Stradamus sitting there at the parade last year saying we're going for the three-peat and we're going to do it at home next year?
It was like they barely celebrated. They're just like from the get-go, I want 3. This is good, but I 3, man. Nobody's ever done that.
Right, yeah, and they were kind of like joking about that, how much better it was and much more fun it was to win the AFC Championship game at home than it was last year, right, at Baltimore. So,
well, Taylor Swift was on the field. Did you guys see that? Taylor Swift's on the
I
field.
saw
She's
that
like,
too.
dude, this is insane. And they're like, oh yeah, no, that's what it's like when it's here.
Yeah,
Which is wild to think that she, that she plays every arena in the world, and she's like,
right,
wow,
right.
It was.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like. I took a little bit of a kind of like a sick, sadistic enjoyment in beating Buffalo and Baltimore in their stadiums for a change last year. Like
they asked for it.
Yeah, they got what they asked for. That's what they wanted, and they got what they wanted.
Well, dude, up until that point, the only caveat Mahomes was like, oh, he can't only win at home, right? Well, it's like, well, he's so good, he only wins at home. But I don't think that's the point, right? And then, so it just kind of like shut all that out, right? Like that's not even an argument anymore.
Right. Yeah. No.
Let's see the Einstein of football. He developed a 3-peat theory of Super Bowls.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's. Yeah. We'll obviously have a show again next Wednesday where we'll do like Super Bowl preview. This is just wanting to gloat and just revel in this AFC Championship.
This is a celebration.
Game.
This is baby.
We got a couple of questions here. If you're ready for me to bring them up.
Sure. Yeah.
So, Laney, are you guys fans of the design Mahomes run plays?
definitely.
If you had asked me before Sunday, I would have said no.
Look, man, like when it's win or go home, and look, like we're joking about owning the Bills and being 4-0 against them. Like the Bills are a good team. Like you gotta take more risks, right, at this time of year. And I mean, I like them, and it keeps the defense honest, right? Because the Eagles are watching that, going, okay, wait, what? Like, you know what I'm like? I mean, they should be familiar because he ran right down the middle of the field on them in the Super Bowl 2 years ago.
With one leg, yeah.
With one leg. But I like it. I'm a fan of it in the playoffs. Week 6 against the Dolphins, maybe not so much, but I like him. And he's strong, and he's faster than he looks, right? I can't remember, someone made the joke online. It was like, Patrick Mahomes' 40 time is a half a second faster than whoever's chasing him. It's like the old joke, right?
Like, you don't have to be faster than a bear, just faster than the next guy.
Right.
That's
He's
Mahomes.
like, right. He's just always like that one step faster than whoever it is that's chasing him, depending on how fast they are. So I like them. They were key in this game Sunday, obviously. I mean, how about you guys? Nick, you like the design run plays for Patrick?
Yeah, no, I've been saying that we need to bust out the run plays and the sneaks for a while now, right? I saw this. I saw a tweet that somebody said, and so I can't take total credit for it. I don't remember who it was, but they said, all right, it's a tie game. Time's winding down in the Super Bowl. The Chiefs are at the goal line, and they bust out the QB sneak to seal the 3.
Yeah, I could see it.
And it was just like that, dude. Or if they just like replicated the tush push, right, with Mahomes to win. I mean, yeah, I'm all about it. Like he's a tough guy. It was a freak thing that happened on that QB sneak, and like they just don't use, like, you see it, like they're restrained in the regular season, specifically around his run game. He doesn't want to get injured because he knows that like the weight of the team is on his shoulders, and that
For sure.
He's got to be worth like what, 6 to 10 wins. Right? Like if we didn't have Patrick Mahomes, we had a league average quarterback. Like he's got to be worth like a half a season's worth of wins at least, based on who we have on our team. And so they don't do that. But in the postseason, like there is no tomorrow, and you got to win today. And so yeah, like for 2 or 3 games a year, if they want to take some risks and let him show off, it also is an added benefit that it's not on tape, right? It's a surprise. I'm all about it, man.
Yeah, Bo, you like him?
Yeah, I flip-flopped on this, and then I flopped back again, right? Because like when we first got him, I'm like, man, we need to run Mahomes more. And then we ran that sneak. He gets hurt. Like, oh, shit, right? And then I was still kind of just like, maybe we should still run it. I mean, it was a fluke injury. And then he goes and wins the Super Bowl. Like, all right, protect this guy at all costs, right? No more quarterback sneaks. Right. I'm okay with that. Protect this guy. And like I was with it. I'm like, yeah, we'll never see it. I'm okay with, dude. We even talked about it relentlessly on the show how dumb designed quarterbacks are for the regular season, right? AFC Championship game is a little bit different. We'll get into that in a second, but just the risk involved, and if Patrick Mahomes was Josh Allen size, then I'd be like, yeah, all day. But like he isn't, and like a lot of those linebackers are, and I don't want to see those guys running into each other. So, but then this game, you just see how effective it is, right? And if you can do that risk mitigation to where you're putting it on the line at the end of the playoffs in the AFC Championship game, and that's what it does for you, I am all for it. Like that whole balance though, that risk reward thing though, I like waiting. I like seeing it at the end of the season versus the beginning though.
Yeah, I mean it's risky.
Electrical tape his kneecaps down, It's just...
Yeah, no, I mean, look, it's risky. We saw Patrick get knocked out of a playoff game on a running play against the Browns a few years ago. So I mean, it's not that it's without risk, but it's this time of year. You got to take more risks, right? Like fortune favors the bold, as the saying goes.
We got a next question here from One Man Show. How did y'all feel when we scored our final 3 points? Honestly, I was concerned.
Cheers. Thanks, One Man. Yeah, I was just more or less disappointed. Concerned, yeah, obviously, too. We really needed a touchdown, right? You just giving the ball back to Josh Allen with 2 minutes left and timeouts are just like, that's not what we wanted. We got the ball back with 5 minutes, and Nick texts like, all right, now we just need to run out the clock and end the game here. It's 5 minutes. then I found ourselves on like the 10-yard line with
Right
like
away.
4.5 minutes left, and then we didn't even proceed from there. But no, I was a little concerned. I was just happy to get points, though. I think we pointed that out a little bit, right? That was like the difference right there on those final drives when everybody's playing their hardest, getting points. You just got to get something, field goal. So I was happy about that.
Yeah, I wasn't too nervous. I don't think that their kicker is very good. I don't think he's like all that clutch.
Not clutch.
So
yeah.
I was sitting there thinking, look, like they're gonna have to go down and score a touchdown here. And even if they do, I mean, if they, man, I guess you could take all 3.5 or 4 minutes, but I wasn't too worried. And I was like, if this game goes to overtime, I like the Chiefs' chances still. But a touchdown definitely would have made me feel better, right? I mean, as opposed to the field goal.
Right. Yeah.
But then you run into the whole, like, so they score a touchdown, and then they could go for 2 anyway, right, to beat you. So I felt like the defense had momentum at that point too, like after getting the stop on the 4th down on the previous drive to get the ball back so we could go down and score. But I mean, I don't know, Nick, how are you feeling?
I was kind of just doing the mental math on, if they were to score, would we have enough time, and what was it going to look like? I thought that they would probably get into field goal position because, I mean, let's be honest, like it's not like a huge ask at the end of a game for a high caliber offense to get, no matter how good the defense
30,
is.
40 yards. Yeah.
And they almost made the plays, right? They were, just
The guy dropped the ball.
one drop away. So, but champions are the ones that make the plays, right? Like
that's a lot of pressure on that kicker.
Yeah, and it's a lot of pressure on Tyler Bass. That first kick that he made, the crowd, could you guys hear it on TV? The crowd was chanting wide right.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, so so it's a lot of pressure. It wasn't super cold, but that's kind of where I was at. I was like, well, I just hope that like we don't have to push this into overtime. And then the other thing that I thought was like, it's going to be funny as hell if the Chiefs like win because of the new overtime rule against the Bills in this game because
they're
because both teams get to possess or whatever. So we got Tony here. He's asking us what we think about Nico Remigio or Hardman when he's healthy.
Well, I think, I mean, they've put out like that Hardman's not coming back for this year, so I don't know if the question's about next year or Remigio in general, I guess, regardless, either way.
Yeah.
He is a better returner, I feel like, at this point in his career. But he makes me nervous, man, with the fumbles, right? He's had a couple fumbles on returns this season, man. Gotta hang on to the ball. Chiefs won this game, even though they lost the turnover battle, right? 1-0.
Yeah.
There was 5 fumbles in that game, and
Yeah.
the Bills recovered every single one of them,
Chiefs.
which was some bad luck there. But I don't think you want to try to repeat that going in and playing the Eagles and getting down a turnover and trying to overcome that. So I think it's going to be Remigio. I think I would probably pick him, but that's the one thing that does kind of give me pause or make me a little bit worried about that guy.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. Like I like Remigio. I think he elevated the special teams a little bit. Like he's no human joystick by any means, but
No.
he's had some great returns, and I'm a fan of him returning it when it makes sense, man. When it's 8-9 yards deep in the end zone, maybe just take a knee, my man. Like I don't know, that was I know it's at the before the half and everything, but man, you're just risking a lot running full speed out of that end zone.
I think they told him just to try to score there.
I think it had a lot to what the story you were saying, right? It's like that ain't great, dog, and he just I gotta run, like maybe that could be fantasy, but anyway, I'm a fan of it. I like his return style. He finds the gaps. He's been making teams punish. Dude, Hardman for me gives me that roller coaster feeling in my stomach when I know it's him back there. Like, is he gonna catch it first of all, and second is like, all right, he's gonna fair catch it like on the 20. Is he gonna let it bounce on in the 2? I don't know. He just does some weird stuff. So, Remigio for me all day.
Yeah, look, I for returns, I think Remigio is the way to go. Hardman, offers, he's not like a, number one, number two, but he offers quite a bit in a receiving capacity that we really haven't seen from Remigio yet. I know that he popped a couple of preseasons ago, and then he was injured, and so I'm happy to see him make the team. Like those are the stories that I know we all love, right? Where those guys come and then he gets to contribute in a game like that. Hardman has had his own fumble issues, and so I mean, when special teams, and famously, I think, muffed a punt in the first Bills AFC Championship game.
Yeah, that was a long time ago, though. I don't think
sure.
he's had the fumble issues here. Well, he's been on and off the team the last couple of years, but yeah.
Right. So I mean, look, I think that he made his case to stay on the team, Remigio, and I'd like to see them continue. I'd like to see if he could bust one. I mean, it's over if the guy busts a long kick return in the Super Bowl, right? In scoring position. But yeah, that's where I'm at. I think that, thank you for your service, Mecole Hardman, right? And you'll always be special to us for the walk-off, right? And overtime in the Super Bowl.
He's part of the Legion of Zoom too, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's the last guy from the Legion of Zoom.
Yeah. But yeah, I'd be, if it were me picking, I'd be keeping Remigio.
Hardman was like giddy, like after the game, running around on the field with the players and shit. Did you see him?
I didn't see that.
You see it on the broadcast, man. Like he was in street clothes or whatever, but boy, he had that like AFC champions hat on, was running around, jumping, high fiving people, hugging him. So
it's like one of us out there.
It's looking like reports of him being mad at the team maybe were maybe a little inaccurate or something, or maybe he got over it since then. But I don't know. He was
weird how winning does that.
The dude looked like a kid in a candy store.
I mean, that game, man. He's going to get a Super Bowl ring even if he's inactive for the Super Bowl, right? So,
that'd be 4 rings for Mecole Hardman. It's fucking insane to think about.
Wild.
So he's basically Joe Montana,
Yeah, he's
Jerry
Joe
Rice.
Montana of receivers. Yeah, pretty wild. Just such a fun game, this run like we were talking about. I mean, they've beaten everybody. They've taken on all challengers and taken them down. Man, it's just so awesome. It's like watching that game. It's like Chiefs going back to Super Bowl, baby.
So we went back to the Super Bowl again.
Yeah.
It's never going to get old right now, for me anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, John, see, I saw that too. The pictures of Kareem Hunt was like the last person to leave the field. He was still walking around. That's got that's got to be some emotions for that dude. We talked about it at the beginning of the show. Just for everything he went through and his history and his past to like go through the changes he's went through and become, a different person by all accounts, and then grab this opportunity and ride it all the way to a Super Bowl appearance. That's awesome. It's one of the stories of the year, in my opinion.
It just blows me away that he was just not on a team, not on anybody's practice squad, just free agent.
Yeah,
middle of the year.
On to like a local high school or something and working with a coach and to try to stay in shape, hoping that somebody would call.
His high school track coach, he said, was working with him.
Yeah.
He's like, I was sitting there thinking a few times, man, I could just quit and give it up, hang it up. But, I figured, someone's going to call. And he loves playing football. That's the other thing is that, dude, you can tell, like, he loves, like, being out there. And he loves playing football and playing running back. And
I think it's just another testament to how good the coaching staff is. You take these players like Kareem Hunt or like Juju or like an MVS or like a Frank the Shark Clark, right? Like,
right.
These guys that like all these other teams give up on and are like, no, man, we got a spot for you. And then, like Nick said, they come on and contribute in such ways. You're just like, how are these guys just sitting around? Like, it's fascinating. I'm hats off to our coaching staff and our management for being able to recognize that, first of all, and then 2, going out and getting them, man. It's been fascinating to watch.
That has. It's been a ton of fun, and that game was a ton of fun. And I just, man, I know at some point, like, the Chiefs aren't going to go to the Super Bowl and the AFC Championship game like every year.
Take it in, guys. Let's live in this moment. Let's really enjoy it.
And I mean, those days could be over sooner than you expect, of course. But I mean, we're kind of in the middle of it right now. I mean, Patrick Mahomes to me is not looking like he's showing any signs.
Dude's 29,
slowing down, and
this team is ascending, right? They're getting better.
right, and they'll be better next year. And
I think we still had one of the youngest defenses too in the league, like maybe third youngest defense. So it's like, dude, our team's just more experienced.
Right,
bring it on.
It all starts with Andy and Patrick, and those guys, by all accounts, aren't going anywhere. So we'll be back next week, next Wednesday, with the Super Bowl 59 preview show. We'll talk about Chiefs, Eagles. We'll talk about keys, what we think to that game are going to be. If you aren't following us on social media, go check us out there at Chiefs Kingdom Live. We're doing some giveaways. If you're not subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. If you're new, we're getting closer and closer to that 1,000 subscriber mark in the signed Isaiah Pacheco giveaway. So
there might be a giveaway next week too. Who knows?
Yeah. Maybe send the link to some friends and some family and help grow up the show. We would really, really appreciate that. Like I said, we will be back next Wednesday to talk about the Chiefs playing the Philadelphia Eagles, the team they beat to begin the quest for the three-peat. They get to come full circle, and it's just feeling more and more like destiny at this point, man, with the way things are lining up in the storylines and just the absolute like craziness and the unpredictable stuff, and the way this is like gone back now, like playing the Texans is the way the dynasty started in the divisional round, and going on to play the Eagles for the three-peat when you beat them to start the quest for the three-peat, man. Pretty freaking cool. So really appreciate everybody watching and hanging out with us tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Your Chiefs are AFC champions again, going back to the Super Bowl again. And we'll be back again next week, Wednesday, to talk about it. Until then, let's go Chiefs.
Let's go Chiefs.
Go Chiefs again.
Listen, the Terminator's an infiltration unit. Part man, part machine. Underneath, it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled, fully armored, very tough. But outside, it's living human tissue. Flesh, skin, hair, blood, grown for the cyborgs. The 600 series had rubber skin. We spotted them easy. But these are new. They look human. Sweat, bad breath, everything. Very hard to spot. Listen and understand that Terminator is out there. It can't be bargained with. It can't be reasoned with. Feel pain. It doesn't feel pity or remorse or fear, and it absolutely will not stop ever until you are dead.
Can you stop it?
I don't know. With these weapons, I don't know.